Lease a BMW X5 for $489 a month only at an authorized X5 SAV center.
Even when the weather turns ugly, the forecast remains strikingly clear. Precision strike. Northrop Grumman, defining the future. Information transmitted to all the right people. So, if a tree falls here, everyone will know. Northrop Grumman, defining the future.
Kohl's 17-hour sale is this Wednesday only with extended hours from 7 a.m. to midnight. Take an extra 10% off all fine jewelry, already 60% off. Enjoy 50% savings on outerwear for the family. Save 50% on all Little Tykes toys and on all St. Nicholas Square trimmetry. And save 50% on all holiday throws, pillows, and table linens. Plus, senior citizens take an extra 15% off your entire purchase. At Kohl's 17-hour sale this Wednesday only. Kohl's, that's more like it.
Sleek, refined, redesigned. Introducing the 2003 Chevy Silverado Z71 4x4 extended cab. The next big thing from Chevy. And now, Silverado looks better than ever with a lease around $389 a month. Residency restrictions apply. Call for important lease details. Or get 0% APR when you purchase the new Silverado. How's that for a reason to buy? Strength and power never look so good. See your local Chevy dealer.
Closed captioning provided by Chevrolet. If only everything was dependable as a Chevy.
1 year later, remembering the victims of American Airlines Flight 587.
Teachers and negotiators pulling an all-nighter in Ridgewood. A decision on a potential strike is just minutes away.
And attention strap hangers at a busy Upper East Side stop. Big changes that could take effect this morning and add a lot of time to your commute. It is a Tuesday, the 12th day of November. This is Today in New York. I'm Jane Hansen.
And good morning, everyone. I'm Maurice Dubois. We'll get into all the news in just a moment. First, though, Chris is here with a thick kind of forecast.
Yeah, it's going to get soggy, too, before this day is through. This morning, early on, I don't think you have to worry about the rain. It's later this morning and especially by this afternoon. It's just cloudy now. And our temperatures, they're backing down slowly. We're in the mid-50s, 55 degrees current reading. Storm track showing, though, the leading edge, and this is just the leading edge of the rain, making its way into eastern Pennsylvania right now. But again, there's quite a bit of rain throughout the middle Atlantic states, down the eastern seaboard and into the Gulf of Mexico, and that's all heading in our direction. So rain develops today. That's our forecast, becoming heavy at times later on in the day. Temperature at its warm spot now will start to slide back through the 50s throughout the day. And then tonight, rain heavy at times, lows in the mid-40s. Looks like it'll take a while to shake the rain tomorrow, too. It should eventually dry out, though, in the afternoon. We'll talk about that and the rest of your 5-day forecast coming up in a few minutes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Well, we are 6 hours past the strike deadline for teachers and negotiators in Ridgewood, and so far it's not looking good. Let's go to New Jersey reporter Pat Battle. She's on the scene. What's the latest, Pat?
Well, after negotiating all night, Jane, the settlement has not been reached. Let me just put it that way. Teachers began arriving here about 15 minutes ago. They're assembling at a church just across the street here from the Board of Education headquarters. They began arriving by the dozens, wearing their red shirts, signifying their unity. Some of them already carrying those placards saying no contract, no work. They have been without a contract since June 30th, and they are threatening to strike over salary and health benefits. The health benefits have been a major sticking point in this negotiation. Now, these teachers have not been on strike ever here in the village of Ridgewood. About 10 years ago, they came close, but they managed to settle that issue. This time has not been so easy. We spoke a little while ago with New Jersey Education Association President, spokesperson Karen Joseph. Here's what she had to tell us.
Regardless of how many times the association says, switch to the state health benefits plan, save the district over $200,000, the board continues to come back with more onerous plans.
Now, those teachers are expected to hear about those plans at that church. They're meeting there at 6 o'clock. They expect maybe a half an hour or so to have a decision. If they don't like it, they have already voted to authorize a strike. The question is, will they walk or will they keep negotiating? As we said, those negotiations have not gone well throughout the night. The lights have been on here at Board of Education headquarters all night long. But again, it ain't looking so good. Reporting live from Ridgewood, I'm Pat Battle, turning it back over to you in the studio.
Okay, Pat, thank you very much. In the city, the day gets a little bit longer for the city's public school students beginning today. The final bell will ring for elementary school children 15 minutes later in the afternoons. Middle school and high school students will get it out 20 minutes later. New dismissal times will also change the bus schedules. For more information, you can call the Office of Pupil Transportation Hotline. That number on the top of the screen, 718-392-8855, or the parent hotline at 718-482-3777. It has been 1 year since American Airlines Flight 587 crashed into Bell Harbor just after takeoff from Kennedy Airport. All 260 people on board were killed and 5 others were killed on the ground. Carolyn Gussoff was on the scene last year. She's in Jacob Riis Park this morning, where they're going to gather later this morning to remember those who were lost. Carolyn, good morning.
Good morning to you, Maurice. It was, in fact, 1 year ago this morning that 260 people boarded American Airlines Flight 587 at Kennedy Airport heading for the Dominican Republic, and of course, they never made it. Just moments into the flight, something went terribly wrong. The Airbus tail broke off and the plane spiraled out of control, crashing into a Bell Harbor neighborhood. All 260 people died, plus 5 people on the ground, and today is a day for honoring the victims. We spoke to family members in Washington Heights who are preparing for this sad anniversary.
It's been a rough year for us, but we're trying to be strong and move on with our lives, remembering the past and remembering him as he was a happy man.
I want to see where my father died. I want to see everything with my own eyes. I want to see the other families.
And for many victims like that, victims' family members like that little girl, it will in fact be their first visit to the crash site today. New York City's official memorial service is for the families. It begins here at Jacob Riis Park at 8 o'clock. Mayor Bloomberg will read a message to the families and then offer prayers in both Spanish and English. Then at 8:20, the city is providing buses to transport family members about a mile or two away to the exact crash site. And at 9:16 in the morning, the exact moment of the impact, there will be a moment of silence. There's also a service this morning for the Bell Harbor community at St. Francis de Sales Church. If you recall, that community of Bell Harbor lost dozens of community members on 9/11, and then just 2 months and 1 day later, they suffered yet another tragedy with this crash. It has been a very painful year for them, and there will be a prayer service for them as well this morning. Reporting live in Bell Harbor, I'm Carolyn Gussoff. Back now to you, Jane.
Thank you, Carolyn. It is one of the most congested subway stations in the city, and now 2 lines will bypass the stop during the busiest hours of the rush. Let's go to McGee Hickey on the east side to explain. McGee.
Jane, if you've ever been on the E and V platform here at 53rd and Lex during the morning rush hour, you know the problem. Dangerous overcrowding on the platform because of an ongoing construction problem. I saw it firsthand yesterday morning. The solution starting this morning, the suspension of E and V service Queens bound for the next 2 years.
It's already an hour commute from my house to my school, and it's going to be like an hour and a half now. It's ridiculous.
From 7:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
All day they were telling commuters to expect some delays in their rides. For the morning rush, the Queens-bound E and V trains won't be stopping at the 53rd and Lex station to help ease overcrowding. Construction is the problem, squeezing commuters dangerously close to the edge.
It's congested and it's very scary and it's aggravating.
Inconvenience versus safety, and the MTA says it's going with safety. No Queens-bound E and V service between 7:30 and 9:30 a.m.
Well, what can you do? You know, we don't have the power to do anything about it, so we have to go along with it, don't we?
And if you take the 6 train in the morning, the MTA says you won't be able to make a direct transfer to the E and the V either.
I'll take another train, either the R train, which will be more crowded, or I'll take an express bus.
Now, alternate routes, also the 7 from Grand Central. The Manhattan-bound E and V service should not be affected. It just should be a lot safer and hopefully less crowded this morning. We're live at 53rd and Lex. McGee Hickey. Back to you, Jane and Maurice.
McGee, thank you. Overseas now, new developments to tell you about in Iraq. The nation's parliament voted unanimously to recommend the rejection of the UN resolution on weapons inspectors. But now Saddam Hussein will have the final say on which way his country goes. Yesterday, President Bush said the U.S. is ready to hit Saddam with overwhelming power if he fails to meet UN disarmament deadlines.
A U.S. sailor facing second-degree murder charges in the death of another sailor is set to be in court today. Police discovered the body of Lisa Tedstone last month, say she was pushed from the 6th floor of the Milford Plaza Hotel. 29-year-old Brian Cooley of LaPorte, Indiana, was arrested for the crime, and he will be arraigned this morning. Tedstone was a crew member of the USS Wasp, a ship that recently returned from Afghanistan.
6:07 on this Tuesday morning. Let's check out the ride to work. Trish, what's going on?
All right, Maurice. Well, we're looking pretty good right now on the area roadways. We do have one slowdown in Westchester County, southbound side of the New England Thruway. Right at exit 19 Playland Parkway, there is an accident. You're looking at now the BQE northbound side and traffic building up typically, getting into the Brooklyn Bridge. Bridge itself, though, so far so good, crossing the East River. New Jersey Turnpike in New Jersey next. And here we're in good shape, too. Both car and truck lanes, north and southbound traffic looking pretty decent. So far so good in through Jersey. Lastly, all of the construction work, most of it anyway, cleared in through Nassau and Suffolk County, so we're looking good there too. Hudson River crossings in great shape for you as well. Alternate side in effect. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, thanks, Trish. Soon it's going to be looking a lot like Christmas around here, around Rockefeller Center. They're getting ready to cut down a big tree in New Jersey, and we're going to show it to you a little later on. There it is, actually 76 feet tall.
Also ahead, the death toll rises after that string of deadly storms across the United States. We'll get you up to speed on that when Today in New York comes back in just a moment.
Now is the time to see Broadway's timeless love story, Elton John and Tim Rice's Aida at the Palace Theater. Call Ticketmaster today.
Did you lease that Civic for $179 a month?
Yes.
Thank you.
Lease a 2003 Civic LX Coupe for $179 a month for 48 months.
I'm Dr. Max Gomez on News Channel 4's Health Beat. Skin cancer is reaching epidemic levels. Sunscreen is a good way to reduce your exposure to the sun's damaging and aging ultraviolet rays. Use plenty of at least SPF 15 and reapply often. Make sure your regular checkup includes a skin examination to catch suspicious spots at an early and curable stage, and tell your doctor about any spots that change.
Health Beat is sponsored by the new Aetna, turning promise into practice.
Who writes this stuff?
We go through the same thing every year. The right health coverage made simple. The new Aetna.
I just want to see our doctors, or the kids' doctors, or even specialists without
Those referral slips.
Exactly.
More choices, open access plans, simpler language. The thing is,
Yeah,
it really does matter.
sure.
The new Aetna, turning promise into practice. Ask your employer about Aetna's open access plans.
It's today's light music. 106.7 Light FM.
People's Court, weekdays at 10 a.m., only on NBC4.
It's 10 after 6 now. Federal emergency officials are due to arrive today in storm-battered Tennessee. That was just one of several states ripped apart by severe storms over the weekend. The death toll from those deadly tornadoes has now risen to 35. The storms, with more than 70 tornadoes, stretched from Louisiana to Pennsylvania. Some of the twisters with winds very high, up to 260 miles an hour. In Tennessee, the hardest hit state, tiny community of Mossy Grove was nearly wiped off the map.
Can't get over those pictures. They're so devastating.
I can't imagine 260 when it comes to wind. I thought
that's maxing out on the scale. The Fujita scale goes from F0 to F5, and there was at least an F4. They'll investigate and look at some of that damage, and we're talking about 260 plus in terms of wind speed down there. Now, for us, our major problem today is going to be the rainfall. Not so much this morning, but certainly on the trip back home. It's 56 and cloudy right now, relatively quiet as we speak. The rain not really knocking on the door just yet. 55, though, in the city. Newark, Belmar, common number as well. A little bit cooler up to the north. Newburgh at 43 degrees right now. Satellite and radar picture. There goes yesterday's rain, but instead of having a nice bubble of high pressure moving in and clearing things out, the front has stalled along the coast. That's allowed low pressure to redevelop further south, and that's bringing back more moisture our way. Notice right in here, the areas of yellow and orange showing up. There's some heavier shower and thunderstorm activity. Not the severe type, but certainly going to put down a lot of rain, and that'll move in our direction later on today and tonight. It stretches from not only here, Virginia. Remember, I just showed you that early shot from this point northward. Look what's south of that point yet. We've got all of this rain sliding up the coastline in our direction, so once this wet weather moves in, it's going to stick around for quite a while. It may take a while to clear even tomorrow. Rain breaks out today. There's that stalled front along the coast. Here comes the storm right along that front. Northeast wind. Let me tell you, if this was about the same time in December, the middle of December, we'd be looking at perhaps a pretty significant snowstorm. But it's warm enough to be a wet weather maker for us, and wet it will be. 1 to 2 inches of rain a possibility. So traveling up and down the eastern seaboard today from Boston through Washington down to Atlanta, showers and thunderstorms even down around Miami today. West of there, things drying out in the 40s in Chicago, 50s in Denver with maybe a brief shower. Look at L.A. today at 85, 81 in Phoenix, and some wet weather in Seattle. Our forecast, mid-50s today, then dropping later in the afternoon as the rain comes down heavy at times tonight into tomorrow morning. It will dry out west to east tomorrow afternoon at 50, 51 Thursday, low 50s Friday, maybe a brief shower Friday night with another cold front, and then cooler for the weekend, only upper 40s on Saturday with a mix of clouds and some sunshine. So getting back to normal temperature-wise after yesterday's 60s to near 70, but unfortunately the price to pay some rain with it.
Bottom starts to fall out.
What's that?
The bottom starts
temperature
to fall
does,
out.
yeah. Of the clouds,
So-
the bottom falls out.
Well, I mean, frankly, 70-plus degrees in
That's a little
November.
odd, isn't it?
It's a little, yes,
Well, it's-
nice,
it's
enjoyable.
done.
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
We're done.
Thanks,
Alrighty.
Chris.
All right, Jerry.
6:13. Thank you, George. When all else fails, Dr. Marks with the surgical option that many people are dangerously overweight, they're going to face this.
Then, all attention screenwriters, there is a new way to get your blockbuster script into the right Hollywood hands. Yeah. We'll tell you about that when we come back.
We've watched them from the beginning and shared all of their joy.
I promise you my laughter and my tears, as long as we both shall live.
Now, Niles faces a personal battle that neither he or his family ever saw coming.
Hey, what's going on?
I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you. Won't let nobody hurt you.
Frasier, NBC Tonight.
It may never be this easy to get into a Mercedes, but we're working on it. Come in today to the Mercedes-Benz year-end celebration, offering more models than ever. Going on now at your Mercedes-Benz dealer.
It is not living that is important, but living rightly.
The boys of St. Benedict's had a lot to learn.
This is unacceptable.
But a teacher who wouldn't give up
Come on, show us how it's done. Old school.
is about to find a way to reach them. From Universal Pictures,
Who out there cares about your principles? People do what they need to do to get what they want.
Kevin Kline,
How will history remember you?
The Emperor's Club. Rated PG-13. Starts November 22nd.
Thanks. Come back again.
Here we go. Get the action going.
About time you got a new TV. Thank you, gentlemen.
Folding seats, loads of space. If you love it, Chrysler PT Cruiser's got a way to hold it.
It's not gonna fit. Oh.
Now, qualified lessees can lease this 2003 PT Cruiser, starting at $199 a month.
Here is a question for you. What's 76 feet high, 43 feet wide, and weighs 7 tons?
Joe Avalar on steroids.
Oh!
But he can't hear us right now, so he'll just take it away, Joe. Tell us about the tree.
I got bad news for you, Maurice.
Yeah.
I can't hear
Oh.
you. I heard that.
We
we'll
thought you
talk later.
couldn't.
No, what's 76? 76 feet tall, 43 feet wide, and weighs 7 tons. No, it's not me. It's that big thing behind me. There it is. It's the tree that will soon become the Rockefeller Center tree. This tree, by the way, is a Norway spruce, 75 years old, and we're out here in New Jersey looking at this tree. It'll be cut down a little bit later, about 10 o'clock this morning. And also with me to talk about this tree is the man who owns it, Carmine Rizzo. You've got a great story to tell because you actually sent a picture of this tree, and we have that picture. We're going to show the folks at home this picture, a picture of this tree to the folks at Rockefeller Center, and they looked at it and said, it's the one they want. Isn't that right?
That's right. That's right. And the way it happened is that we used to go over to Radio City and go to a show, and then we went to Rockefeller Center and seen the trees. And of course, I said to my wife, I said, you know, I think our tree is just as good as that one. And I think it should belong right here in Rockefeller Center. And we made contact with Dave Ruback, and And he
came out here. Actually, he was watering the tree and feeding the tree for the past year and making sure that it looked good.
Right, and it looked like it grew another 5 feet to me with doing that. And then they gave us the word that they're going to accept the tree, and we were tickled pink about it because, I mean, it's such a beautiful tree.
It's beautiful, and it's just at the end of its lifespan, so that it's really time that something would have to be done. And it's right next to your house, too, so something had to be done with it. So, Mr. Rizzo, congratulations. Thank you very much for talking with us. Show you one more time the picture of that tree. We'll pan back up. As you see, it is all wrapped up right now. They'll be attaching a crane to it shortly. As I said, at 10 o'clock this morning, attach the crane to the top, cut it down to the bottom, and then off it goes to Rockefeller Center. And tomorrow, they actually put it in front of our building at 30 Rockefeller Center. They light it on December 4th. You can watch that on NBC. Of course, you can also come down and watch the lighting, and it stays there until January. So, Maurice, that's what's 76 feet tall.
Got
Back
it.
to you.
Gotcha, Joe. We hear you.
We'll be looking at that thing here tomorrow, right?
That's right. That's what we said.
Alrighty.
Okay, let's change gears. Talk about an aggressive surgical procedure to help you lose weight.
It's part of our week-long effort to look at what we call living large in America, which is really the obesity problem and overweight problem we've got in this country, David.
A huge problem. Now, there are a lot of reasons to lose weight. Looking good is one, but more important is feeling good and being healthy. Obesity increases your risk of diabetes, heart disease, stroke, and some forms of cancer. Losing weight lowers your risk. A lot of people can do it with diet, exercise, and medication, but some people need a little more help.
I was feeling pain almost every day. My back, my legs, my feet. And at the time I was 32, and I was feeling horrible.
This is what Stacy Ruffin looked like just a few years ago, but looks weren't all that important to her.
Cosmetic, I never even thought about that. I just knew that I wanted to feel better. I wanted to run up a flight of stairs without getting exhausted, breathing heavy.
She tried diet, exercise, and prescription weight loss medicine. Nothing worked, so her doctor recommended surgery. Stacy underwent a surgical procedure called a gastric bypass, or what a lot of people refer to as a stomach stapling. During surgery, the doctor removes a very small portion of the stomach and uses it as a pouch. He then attaches it directly to the small intestine. Most of the stomach and the first part of the intestine is completely bypassed. Basically, you lose weight because you can't fit much food into the small pouch that's now your stomach.
Not only does it get, for most people, a 75% reduction in excess weight, it will cure the diabetes, it will cure the high blood pressure, it will make asthma almost disappear.
Dr. Goodman says 90% of patients keep the weight off, but he says surgery is not a magic bullet. Patients have to change their entire lifestyle. They have to eat very small meals, cut out junk food completely, avoid foods that are hard to digest, and take vitamins and iron. It's not an easy task.
I want to eat the way I used to, and I can't. Certain foods I'm just totally turned off.
Stacy's lost more than 120 pounds and is reaping the health and social benefits.
Well, I'm popular even more now, doctor.
I can imagine. Now, most insurance companies will pay for it because they think it's medically necessary. Side effects include normal risks of surgery like bleeding, infection, blood clots, and hernias maybe at the incision site. But another side effect, and a common one, is called the dumping syndrome. Now, if you eat a large meal, it gets dumped into the intestines very quickly, and you can get anxiety, cold sweats, cramps, and diarrhea. And that's the main problem that these people have. For more information about this or other medical stories, log on to WNBC.com and click on the health icon.
Hey, is that permanent? Is that lifelong, or is there any risk of it becoming undone, so to speak?
Well, they have to eat appropriately, but in a sense it's permanent because they just don't have much of a stomach. Certainly,
but you can't.
Is it reversible? Is the question.
Is it reversible? No, they're not going to burst it in general, as long as they eat within normal limits. Of course, you could always, if you eat constantly, 24 hours a day, you could overcome it. But because you bypass that first part of the small intestine, you don't even absorb a lot of the calories. So you have two things going for you there. So most people, it's a relatively permanent solution to their problem.
Wow.
Well, 90% of patients.
looked really, well, that Stacy looked remarkable.
An incredible
Change
difference,
in her
right?
life is astonishing.
Incredible.
We want to tell you that a little bit later on, we're going to show you, we're going to talk to Al Roker. He has had a remarkable weight loss journey of his own. He turned to surgery when other options failed, and today he is 100 pounds lighter than he was at this time last year. He's going to be here to talk about what made him do it and what his life is like now.
And looking good, too.
Yeah, so stick around for that.
Yeah, looking forward to it. 6:22, let's check out your ride to work. Trish, what's happening?
Hey, you guys. Well, first off, we want to tell you, Connecticut Turnpike northbound at exit 24 in Fairfield, there is an accident being cleared. Outside now, Panasonic Skycam. Show you the Queens Midtown Tunnel. Looking good here inbound side, just starting to build up. Typical stuff, nothing out of the ordinary. We head upstairs now to Chopper 4's over a bad accident in Queens. Dan, what's going on this morning?
Well, Trish, what you're looking at down here is going to be a very serious accident on Liberty Avenue. A semi-tractor trailer carrying crane parts was coming into this driveway here, and if you look close enough, you can see there's another vehicle underneath that tractor trailer at this point. Now, the EMS will not confirm the severity of the injuries to the driver of the vehicle, but we can tell you there are very serious injuries involved with this accident. Police investigation going on right now. If you travel through the Hollis section of Queens, we pull out here, you're going to see Liberty Avenue. That is shut down right now between Dunkirk Street and 104th Avenue. Reporting live in Chopper Farm, Dan Rice, Jana Maurice, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Dan. Calling all would-be Spielbergs or Scorseses, actor Kevin Spacey has a way to help you get your fledgling films in the hands of Hollywood's elite.
Also, the Emmy Awards moving down the dial on your TV set. Could be. We'll be right back.
Friendship is natural. Friendship is healthy. Friendship is satisfying. But above all, friendship is delicious, all-natural cottage cheese. Friendship, what could be more natural?
It's a toy.
You don't like it.
No, it's great.
You know, you're always going on and on about
I
how
know,
much...
I know.
As they say, it's the thought that counts.
Hey, look, I really like it. It's the nicest.
Unwrap a Jaguar S-Type. For exceptional values on the S-Type, visit your tri-state Jaguar retailer today.
Beautiful from Estee Lauder. A reason to celebrate. This Weekender travel bag. Free with any Estee Lauder fragrance purchase of $35 or more. Now at Macy's.
This portion of the news is brought to you in part by Continental Airlines. Work hard, fly right.
6:25 after 6. Actor Kevin Spacey helping new screenwriters and a change of venue possibly for the Emmys.
Linda Lopez is here. She's got details. Good morning.
Thanks, guys. Actor Kevin Spacey is providing a way for new screenwriters and filmmakers to get exposure. He has launched TriggerStreet.com, that website. It's a web-based interactive community to showcase and discover new and unique talent. Now, unlike Project Greenlight, there's no grand prize winner here, just a guarantee that someone will see your work. Well, I got to speak to Kevin, and he told me he's eager to try to help newcomers.
I spent about 10 years being told no, that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't all kinds of things enough, and so I know what it feels like to be rejected and to not be given a chance. But then a whole number of people started to give me a chance and started to believe in me way before I'd shown any promise, and took me under their wing and taught me and helped me and nurtured me. And so I guess on some sense the nucleus of this began as a hope that I could try to do the same thing for others.
On its first day, which is this past Monday, the site received over 1,000 submissions. Now, if you'd like to get your script or short film some exposure, you just log on to triggerstreet.com, which he named after his production company. I actually asked Kevin, are you doing this to find some material for yourself? And he went, oh, yes, definitely.
Oh, did he?
Not a bad idea.
Which is a good idea, right?
Yeah.
And the Emmys could be moving to HBO. Industry sources say that the cable network is offering the Academy of Arts and Sciences a lucrative 5-year offer beginning next year. And the Academy has been talking with all of the major networks, but unnamed industry sources say the networks don't want to pay the $10 million annual license fee that the Academy wants to air them. But HBO apparently willing to dish out some dough.
Yeah, it
they might be able to say anything they want on the air too, huh?
Exactly.
Which could be interesting.
Which will be the change.
But then they talk about the availability to people to be able to watch. 'Cause
Exactly, that
not
it's not
everybody
widely
subscribes.
available.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay.
So
Thank you,
that.
Linda. We'll
Okay.
see.
We're going to get to all our morning headlines in just a moment, including Flight 587, 1 year after a fiery crash into Belle Harbor. We're live as the victims' families gather to remember.
Also this morning, will they or won't they? A possible strike by teachers in Ridgewood after an all-night-long negotiating session.
And that doesn't commute. Subway changes you need to know about before leaving the house. It's all coming up on Today in New York.
Check the traffic with the Toyota Skycam on the web, only on WNBC.com.
As a teacher, I'm proud that New Jersey ranks second in the nation for students going on to college.
And first in the nation for schools offering advanced placement courses for college credit.
I teach the basics and more.
We teach the values of hard work and
personal responsibility every day.
It takes all of us, schools and families together, to help children succeed.
As both a teacher and a parent, I'm proud of our schools.
New Jersey's public schools.
Working,
improving,
achieving.